What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Boot Podcast, episode number 38. And today we're breaking down the New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys in week number one. We've been waiting for this NFL season for so long. We already got a game on Thursday. That one was with the Detroit Lions defeating the Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't see that coming at all, but, props to the Lions. They played a good game against the Chiefs, but we're talking about the New York Giants today, not the Detroit Lions. But we got football on Thursday, and now we have it on Sunday. It's a huge, huge game for the New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys. These two teams meet all the time in week one. Dallas has definitely gotten the better half in these last few contests. Giants are, looking to bounce back. New era, of course. Brian Dable's team against, Jerry Jones' team. And I mean, these two teams definitely got better in the offseason. Giants getting more weapons for Daniel Jones, getting Darren Waller, who is currently questionable for this week one game, but I still think he's going to play. I know it's just a hamstring injury, and Darren Waller has had a multiple injuries in his career with the Raiders, and the Giants took a swing on him, and they knew coming out of the gate that there could be some injury problems with Darren Waller, but that's where you take risks for players, but I still think Darren Waller is going to play week one regardless. I think he will be good to go. And, if not, I mean, Daniel Bellinger is not a bad option for, the tight end position. He's still a very good blocking tight end, in my opinion. And I think he does a lot of things well for this team. And, losing Darren Waller would definitely be interesting because Daniel Jones has really relied on Darren Waller in the preseason. He's been his favorite target in my opinion, but Daniel Jones has a lot of options to throw the ball to. He could give it to Saquon Barkley. He could give it to newly drafted Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. He's got a bunch of weapons with Darius Slayton, Campbell, everybody. He's got a ton of options, and that's what was lacking at it last year. Giants were mainly focused. Their main wide receivers were Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Daniel Bellinger, and Saquon, carrying the load, and they made it to the playoffs, and they were all big contributors to that. Obviously, Saquon probably being the most out of it. He had an amazing year, and I fully expect that out of Saquon Barkley again, another 1,000-yard year. Because Saquon Barkley is a very talented running back, and if he stays healthy, amazing. The Giants tried to extend him on the offseason. They could only get him on a 1-year deal. So I mean, that's another thing is after the season, what is the future with Saquon Barkley? Are they gonna sign him to that big long-term contract like McCaffrey or Aaron Jones, all those type of guys? The running backs have been pissed off about not getting their bag, and I don't know if Joe Shane is going to give Saquon the bag. He's been freeing up cap a lot recently. Just converting players' contracts into signing bonuses and all that. So that's definitely something. But we get to the Giants players to watch, and I got three in mind right now, and of course, at the top of my list is Daniel Jones. He had a good year last year, and he only threw for 15 touchdowns last year. But now he's got new weapons. A lot of new weapons, and I think this could really help out Daniel Jones, really skyrocket his touchdowns. He only threw 15 touchdowns last year, which is very low for the quarterback position. I mean, yeah, he didn't turn over the ball over much. He had 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But, I need to see, 25, 28 touchdowns at least out of Daniel Jones this year. He just got a new contract, making $40 million a year over 4 years. So, this is their guy. Daniel Jones right now is the guy. Okay. And, I just think, with what Daniel Jones has done for the team last year was amazing. He got him to the playoffs. He beat a team in the playoffs, which was great. Daniel Jones, we are hoping for another good season, but we did get a question, and the question was, what does Daniel Jones need to do to take control of the game versus the Dallas Cowboys? And basically, I mean, he needs to use his legs when needed. He just needs to play his game and just do it. Just play like how he played last year, and if even better. Make the good passes. Don't necessarily force anything, and know who you're playing against. You're playing against, Parsons and Lawrence and all those good defensive players. Stephon Gilmore now for the Dallas Cowboys. So the Giants need or Daniel Jones needs not turn the football over and just play very strong game because Dallas is still a very good team. They're always in the hunt. They're always in the playoffs. Not, but they're always a very, very talented team. And now we get to Darren Waller. Darren Waller, if he plays, I'm going into this assuming Darren Waller plays. He's a huge piece of the offense. And your elite tight ends are hard to come by. You look at the tiers and look at all those tight ends. There is not many elite ones. I mean, yes, you have the Travis Kelce tier and George Kittles, Mark Andrews, T.J. Hawkinsons, but and Dan Wallers and Goddards, and then after that, it's kind of like I guess the mid tiers, but regardless, Dan Waller is a beast. The guy can catch in traffic. He can kind of pretty much play the wide receiver role. And he's a huge part to Daniel Jones because those two have had an amazing bond since acquiring him. They really Daniel Jones loves throwing the football to Waller. I felt like all the time you get notifications. Darren Waller caught another great pass by Daniel Jones. I mean, even in that preseason game when they played the Panthers, I think he had like three receptions for 30 yards on that drive alone, right? That was a very, very good drive from the team, and now they're playing a real defense. Dallas is a solid defense, and I mean these games are always close, right? These two teams always play a close game. You've looked at the last few games. You look at the Thanksgiving game, close game. You look at the game before that, pretty close game. All right, these games get close, right? It's just who makes the better play at the right time, and Dallas has done that. The Giants are in need of a Week 1 win against Dallas. That's what I'm saying. And of course, the final guy on my list is Saquon Barkley. We kind of touched on him before. He's an elite presence to the offense. I'm very glad that he's playing this year, not backing out. He rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, and he brought the Giants back to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. That's a huge thing for the Giants, right? They get new management. They got a brand new head coach. Nobody knows what they're gonna do. A lot of them thinking they're going 4-13 or banking on the number one pick. But no, they show that they can win, and that a lot of credit goes to Brian Daboll. He did not have the best options to work with. Richie James, and he just found ways to win games. Right? They won those scrappy battles, and now I think they can win battles much easier with what the team they have. I mean, yes, the Giants have a very tough schedule, one of the toughest in the league, along with the Eagles and a few other teams, right? But I still believe in this team. I mean, I still believe that they can win, 9 to 10 games, maybe 11 at most. I mean, I think the worst they can do is 8-9. I really do. I think the worst they could do is 8-9. But I think at least 9 wins from this team is good. Making the playoffs again. The NFC's good. The NFC's got some top dogs. The Niners, Eagles, a bunch of teams, right? Eagles and Niners, of course. Point out because those two guys are that is the top tier. Eagles and 49ers. Then the rest are followed. But the Giants, like I said earlier, are due. They're 1-4 in their last 5 contests against Dallas, and they previously lost to the Cowboys 28-20 on Thanksgiving. And we look at that game in particular. It's a very strong game for CeeDee Lamb. Gallup and Pollard, right? Of course Zeke had a good game, and Dalton Schultz, all those guys. The offense came to play, and CeeDee Lamb has been a problem against the New York Giants. This guy has had some monster games, right? And we look at the games that he's played. He's in his career against the Giants, he's averaging more than 80 yards per game against the Giants, 82.3 to be exact. Crazy stuff from number 88 for the Cowboys, but we gotta lock him down. I'm assuming they're gonna have like Adoree Jackson or someone on there. I don't think they're gonna put Banks on them at all. But maybe they do. Maybe they get a little funky with it. But a big thing as we get to the keys to win week 1 to try and get to a strong start. And firstly is locking down Micah Parsons. All right. If he is going against Andrew Thomas, I like that matchup. I mean, two very, very good players at their position. Andrew Thomas has kind of solidified himself as one of the better tackles in the league now. And Parsons is a beast. I mean, that guy is a freight train, and when he gets going, it's very tough to start. Very tough to stop. Parsons. I mean, and I don't know why. It was a little. I really wonder if they're gonna try and put Parsons on Neal a bit. I saw when the Giants played, the Eagles, right? They had, I believe it was Hassan Reddick against Neal, and he was beating the living crap out of Neal. I mean, he was beating them, I think, almost every time, or if every time, and just the Giants got killed. In Philly, the Giants were just killed in Philly, and I wonder if Dallas is going to do that. I don't think so. I think Parsons is just going to go up against Thomas, but it would be really interesting to see if they try and pull that, right? I mean, I think they could definitely, but another guy is to lock down is Pollard and Lamb. I mean, they're definitely two really good players, and it's kind of Pollard's backfield now since the departure of Ezekiel Elliott, now going to the New England Patriots, who the Giants do play this year, but not until later in the year. And you got to be cautious of Lamb. He's had some big games against the Giants, and you have to really not let him get the football. That is just your goal. And another thing for the Giants, which I'm interested in, is how Wink Martindale uses the defense. Dak Prescott has been good against the blitz, but we also know his turnover problem. Dak Prescott turns the ball over a lot, and the Giants have intercepted him multiple times. Okay, Xavier McKinney getting the pick, and a bunch of other interceptions. Dak loves turning the football over. So I mean, do they probably blitz a few times? Of course. Wink Martindale is an aggressive defensive coordinator. Okay, and I really do see the Giants sending pressure on Dak. I mean, I feel a big Isaiah Simmons game. That guy is very good. Okay, and the Giants got him for nothing. Okay, the Giants got him for nothing. He's no longer a Cardinal, and the Giants gave up a very late round draft pick for a guy who has very good potential in this league. And also, the Giants were previously going to draft him at, where they drafted Andrew Thomas, and now they have both. So a great job by Joe Schoen. He's done an amazing job since coming in. He had an amazing draft, and the Kadarius Toney trade has really helped out the New York Giants. They got Waller and Trey Hawkins, and Trey Hawkins has looked amazing in camp, and he's probably going to get first team reps in this game against Dallas. So another good job by Joe Schoen. I mean, it has been very good, and we know this game is going to be a battle. Okay, and we know it's anyone's game. It's a 50-50 matchup. We saw the Lions go into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes. I mean, nobody really expected that. Maybe a few, but you know, it's going to be a battle, and the Giants have some firepower now. They got Darren Waller if he plays. I mean, they have Jalen Hyatt, who I don't really know if he gets talked about much of how fast this guy is. This guy moves. Like, this guy can move. He also changed his number to number 13. We know Odell Beckham Jr. used to wear number 13 as a wide receiver. It's a nice number, and we hope Jalen Hyatt has an amazing rookie year. I fully expect him to have a good year. I think he can be utilized in many different situations. He's obviously a deep threat. We saw that in the preseason. The guy can burn cornerbacks like it's nothing. He's a very good player. But Giants taking on Dallas. Of course, it's gonna be a very good game. Hope you guys all tune into it. I, of course, will be tuning into it. And of course, it's been the Inside Blue podcast. Of course, we are always uploading Giants, Rangers, and Yankees content. And let's go Giants, baby. Peace.